bless football, Billy Gill.
God bless football, Mike Golic.
God bless football, Mikey A.
God bless football, Stugotz.
I have an issue with you right off the top here. Right off
Who?
the top. We've been down this road before, you and I, with Mikey A and Billy Gill and the crew here at God Bless Football. I asked you if you had a number for one Greg Olsen.
Yeah.
Response was, I don't. Sorry. I asked you on the heels of you spending an entire weekend with Greg Olsen. Like, what's going on here?
Yeah, I have no excuse. I was at his tournament, Keel Island, South Carolina. Beautiful place, great tournament. The guys I golf with, we enjoyed a lot of tequila together.
Yeah.
Luke Kuechly was also there. Talked to him for a while, and
Really?
came away with neither one of the numbers. Yeah, that's I wish I had something better for you. I wish I didn't think of it. I was just talking to them, never even thought about it. And here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. I got nothing. And as soon as I saw you text me about, hey, give me Greg Olsen's number, I thought, oh hell, I'm so bad at this. Yeah, that's on me. My mistake.
Okay.
I have a question, I guess for Stugotz and Mikey A, because much like Mike Golic, I'm not good at this. Like, I'm not someone who goes up and says, like, hey, can I get your number? Like, my entire life, like, even going back to, like, dating or whatever, right? Like, it was just like, we'll see each other when we'll see each other. Like, this was fun, like, whatever, right? But I would never go up and be like, hey, can I get your number? So how would you do that kind of like in a professional situation? Well, you're shameless. I guess I should ask Mikey A, because Stugotz will go up to anyone and just say, hey, can I get your number? Mikey, how would you go about doing that?
Are you guys laughing at my daughter in the background in the hotel room?
A little bit, yeah.
A little bit, yeah.
Listen, give her credit. She went to a dead show last night. She came home. She worked out in the gym already. I mean,
Wow. Sweat it out. There you go.
That's how she rolls. But thank you for laughing at it.
We're trying to pretend like nothing was going on.
But I knew you. Listen, I saw you guys. I saw what you saw, and then I saw your reaction to seeing it. And it was just my daughter coming in from a workout. But anyway, what was the question, Billy?
My question was for Mikey A, how he handles the acquisition of people's numbers, because much like Mike Golic, like I'll have new coworkers who will come in and work with us for like weeks at a time, and then eventually like they'll be like, hey, like, can you give me your number? I'm like, yeah, absolutely, sure. Like, probably should have done this weeks ago, months ago, whatever. But like, I don't know. I'm just not good at asking people for their number.
For me, the trick was to set up the reason I was asking for the number before I actually asked for the number. Hey, Greg, you're great. You're great on Fox. We'd love to get you on the podcast. By the way, why don't you give me your number? This way we could set that up.
Right.
I'll send it to my producer so we could set that up.
But Billy, I think there's a thing with, former players, current players. Like I understand why Mike would have difficulties in asking Greg Olsen, even while participating in his charity golf tournament, hey, Greg, can I have your number? I think Mike feels like someone else should be doing that on his behalf, or it's beneath him,
I don't feel like it's beneath me. I'm not used to doing it. But listen, if I asked him, I'd have got his number. If I'd asked Luke Kuechly, I'd have gotten his number. I mean, we're all kind of, we're all former athletes, all guys who played. Nobody has a problem giving each other like that, their number. So now they didn't ask for my number, but if I'd have asked for their number, it would not have been an issue. I just, for some reason, forgot, because I haven't really done that. And my wife, to, the Stugotz in her, she always tells me, when you go out to these events, get phone numbers. And I have her ringing in my head. I have Stu ringing in my head. And I came away with Tom Rinaldi's number and Kurt Menefee's number.
That's not bad, though. Not a bad haul. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a good fish.
You know what? Well, how did you go about that? Because this is, what I would tell you my move was, and this is something that I would do again, and no one cares about my, dating life. But I would always like, why don't you take my number? And I would give it to them. And then if they contacted me, it's like, okay, well, they're comfortable with me having their number. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I would always offer, like, hey, you know what? this is like great. Like you know, are hanging out with Olsen. You're like, hey, this is great. Why don't you take down my number if you're ever in, you know, South Bend? Throw in one of those, like if you're going to host him for something, you know what I mean? And then he'll just text you back right away.
See, the way you do it now is like for Kurt Menefee, I just gave him my number and he hits call and then his number pops up on my phone. Now we have each other's number.
That's the move.
That's what I should have done.
Why did Menefee ask for the number? If you know, it's an odd guy to be asking for your number. Why did he ask?
He came up and we started talking. He had said,
chit chat.
He said, I wanted to get a hold of you a while ago to tell you something. I forgot what it was about.
Classic
and then we started chatting about other stuff.
Right.
Not realizing that show has been together on Fox 18 years, which is incredible. And then it was just kind of a natural thing because he had said he was wanting to get a hold of me that we just switched numbers, you know, just so that was and I should have done it with Greg and I should have done it with Luke Kuechly.
Yeah. I
should have. And I didn't. It would have been, I had great conversations with both of them.
Yep.
And I just didn't do it. I'm a failure at that, Stu. I admit.
What was the line? How did it end? Like, just call me for whatever, anything like that? Like, what was said? Okay,
yeah,
so
it was just to have each other's number. You know, it's one of those, we're in the same business. Occasionally we run into each other. Now we have each other's number. Rinaldi, I would see, because he's the sideline reporter for those guys. So when I did a game where that those guys had a game, like I didn't do all Sunday night games, which is NBC. I did some others, and I did some Fox games where those guys were the team. So I would see Rinaldi on the field a lot. And I've known him, obviously, for our years at ESPN together as well. So I failed.
No,
Mike, you didn't fail. Mike, don't be so hard on yourself, Mike. Come on.
As soon as Stu texted me, what's Olsen's number? I thought, damn it.
Mike, you notice you said Kurt Menefee asked, you know, we're in the same field. You know who else you're in the same field as? Greg Olsen.
I know. That's what I mean. I know.
Like, it's that easy.
Yeah.
I know. And that's what I'm saying, Mike. Yeah, it would have been a breeze.
Fox is number one. I mean,
it would have been no issue at all to get their numbers. None. I even told Greg, I said, dude, you know, him and his partner, Kevin Burkhardt, were there. And I was telling them, I said, listen,
they called the Super Bowl this year.
So I said, you guys called the Super Bowl. You've been doing great. I said, you know, I'm sure there's part of you that hope Brady never gets into this business, you know, because through no fault of your own, they would lose the number one slot through nothing they've done. And I think they're excellent, and they would have zero say in the matter, and they would just be pushed aside.
Stugotz, Mikey, you guys thinking what I've been thinking during this story? So Kurt told you, hey, reach out whenever for anything. Let's call him.
Yeah.
Let's call up Kurt right now, see what he's up to.
Yeah. Say, Menefee, I was just thinking about you.
Yeah, put on speakerphone. Just wanted to talk. Miss you.
And now he's saying no. It's the one number he got in the golf tournament. He's about to say no to us.
That I'm not doing. I'm not ambushing somebody. Say, hey, Kurt, how you doing? Oh, by the way, we're live on air.
Yeah. You know? Well, we're taping, so.
We're taping. Yeah. No, I'm not doing that.
Huh.
No.
How do we program you? Me, your wife, Mikey A, Billy Gill. How do we program you to know how? Do we need Sid? Do we need to get Sid involved? Like, how do we do this?
I don't know. I just reps, I guess. Reps and failures.
Had a million.
I don't think it's going to work at this. I think you can't teach an old dog new tricks in this one. He's just not going to change.
Wait, so you were at Olsen's golf tournament. Is he coming to yours?
No.
No, we're actually full with celebrity. You know, in all honesty, I do get a few outside of Notre Dame, but most of them are former Notre Dame players, in all honesty. And then I get a few outside of that as well.
The bus coming?
He is not coming. Tim Brown is coming. Brady Quinn is coming. Those are probably the two big headliners there.
Wow. Besides you.
Well.
And Jess.
Our family. Yeah. Jess trying to get another closest to the pin award.
Marcus Freeman will be there.
He doesn't
golf. Play.
Now,
yeah.
He doesn't golf, but he comes to the Sunday night event. It was fantastic. So, and we're getting some of the student athletes to come out to the party as well. Football, basketball, hockey, lacrosse, swimmers. So that'll be fun too.
Who owns the room on that Sunday night? Is it Marcus?
Well, no, because I don't put him in a position I don't have him come up and speak. I want him just to be a guest. Now, people will go talk to him. Brady Quinn, obviously very popular. Tim Brown will be very popular. Last year, Mike Eruzione was as well. So for people closer to my age and knowing the greatest upset in sports history, the 80 U.S. Olympic team, of which he was so famously part of. He obviously held court as well. So yeah, there's more than a few that do.
I love that people think that upset resulted in them winning the gold medal.
Yeah,
They don't realize they had to play another game.
They did. It was against the Dutch, I think, wasn't it?
Finland.
Sweden, Finland.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Came
Yeah,
from behind.
And it all would have been for naught had they not won that game. That would have been unbelievable. Yeah.
If they beat Russia and lost to Finland.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
They were spent.
Yeah, they were spent, but they got it done.
Yeah, they did.
They dug deep. Just like you need to dig deep when you go to these golf events.
I know.
Mike.
Yeah.
Listen, it's listen. You know what? You can teach me. Are you going to be out at the Tahoe event for a little bit? So you can show me how you do this.
I will. I'll gladly show
There's obviously going to be some mega talent out there. So.
Oh, Mahomes, Kelsey, Aaron Rodgers, all the guys. I'll show you how to do it, Mike.
All right. Okay.
I'll show you how to do it.
I want to learn from you.
It's great to get a number listen, there's nothing like getting a number, putting it away in your contacts, knowing the next time you reach out to that person, they're never going to respond.
But
No
I think Mike's experience is different than that. You know what I mean?
It would be different if we would get the numbers.
Oh, yeah,
yes.
yeah. They respond to me. They won't respond to you. I agree with that.
Like, I'm sitting here, like, I'm telling you right now, just as a result of being out at Tahoe for the last couple of years, I am sitting here in my contacts. I have Patrick Mahomes' number. And I have texted him 2 or 3 times, and I've gotten 0 response.
I've never heard this before. I'm questioning this.
Well, I got it through Kelsey, to be honest. We were just out on the course. We were hanging out. It was a good time. Mike's asking me to show him how it's done. I'm going to show him how it's done.
That's a bad job by Travis Kelsey giving out Patrick Mahomes' phone number to you.
No, in Kelsey's defense, Mahomes said, hey, just give him my number. Like, that was the deal. He realized that I had some sort of relationship with Kelsey, and so they were out on the course during the practice round. Me and Chris Cody crossed paths with them. Okay, I went into a bathroom, and as did Chris Cody because we were doing things, and then the pen. And then as I came out, I asked Mahomes, chuck me a football, Billy. And then we had a little conversation.
I've never heard this story before, and this seems like something you would start with. You were in the bathroom, you came out, and Patrick Mahomes threw you a pass coming out of the bathroom for some reason.
He tossed the pill to me. I mean,
wow.
Him and Kelsey are playing football out of the fairways in Tahoe. Golic will see. He'll report back to you.
Mike, you believe this story?
No, not a bit.
Okay.
I totally made it up.
Yeah.
And I never got to the end. God bless football. Mikey, I've been away on, going to dad shows and maybe coming up to see you. Doubtful, but maybe.
Holding my
thinking
breath.
about it.
That's what I'm doing there.
Yeah, so I haven't been really keeping up with what's going on in the NFL, but you were telling us before we started the show here that DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook, both who remain unsigned, and now they're looking to join the same team together. Is that accurate?
Yeah, Dalvin had said, it'd be really cool, and they've talked about it, about possibly joining the same team.
All right. I mean, Mike, you get to those 2 players on a team that's kind of close, and those 2 players are 2 players that could put you over the top, right?
Well, you look at 2 teams. You look at a team like Miami and a team like Buffalo. Miami has one of the best rosters on paper in the league.
Yes.
Again, we don't play on paper, but they have a great roster. But again, you could sit here and say you want to play together, but what are you both willing to take for money? Because remember, we're past free agency when all the big money went out. We're past the draft. This is all secondary time now, and you have 2 pretty big talents available in Hopkins and Cook. So what's it going to cost, though? We saw Odell with the 1-year deal in the area of, 18 or 20 mil. We know running backs don't get paid a whole lot, so I don't expect Dalvin to get a bunch of money, but that would be the thing. It's great to say, let's go play for the same team, but that team you're talking about, what kind of salary cap space do they have to fit you both in it? And what are you willing to take?
Right.
Mike,
you think it's... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, let me throw one more team out there. It's got the 3rd most salary cap right now. What about the Dallas Cowboys?
Wow, to team up DeAndre with CeeDee Lamb, Dalvin Cook
And Brandon Cooks.
And Brandon Cooks. And then you got Pollard and Dalvin Cook together. That would be some power there. And that would be a move I could see Jerry Jones wanted to do. This guy for all anything anybody says about him as a GM and what he's done and things he said, this dude wants to win. There ain't no doubt about that. We know some owners where the bottom line sometimes is more important than winning a Super Bowl. This guy wants that Super Bowl. So that would be a heck of a place to go. I think that's the first game I have this year. I think it's Dallas at the Giants. And I did Dallas's first game last year against Tampa Bay in Dallas. That's when Dak got hurt and basically, I would say derailed their season, but dude backup came in and went like 4-1. So it didn't really derail them from a record standpoint that much. So that would be another talented roster that's starting to get on the brink of some players, especially on that old line that they have to revamp at some point.
Mike, you got your schedule?
Well, I mean, I did Sunday night games last year, so I'll probably do Sunday night games again this year, except for maybe a Saturday here or something there. But for the most part, it'll be Sunday night games again.
Are you the Greg Olson of your company? Like you're doing Sundays for now, but there's someone kind of lurking to maybe throw you off the Sunday?
No,
Mike was the one lurking.
No, I'm doing Sunday. Kurt Warner and Kevin Harlan are the Monday night crew, and me and Ryan Radke do the Sunday night. So and then I jump on and do sideline for the Super Bowl with Harlan and Kurt Warner at the end of the year. So that's the Monday night and Sunday night crew.
Do you have Harlan's number?
Kevin, I have Kevin's number. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, there you go, Mike. That's a start.
Yeah,
Way to go.
Kevin was my first play-by-play guy ever. I signed with ESPN in '95 to do college games, but I also signed with the Jaguars when they came into the league in '95 to do their preseason TV games. So that was before college started. So that was my first time ever in a booth, and it was with Kevin Harlan. So it was great because he was fantastic, and that was the humble beginnings of my booth career.
And how about Kurt Warner?
Kurt's a great guy. Oh my God!
Well, I didn't ask you if he was a great guy. I asked if he had his number. That's all. I mean.
Yes, I have Kurt's number. Yes,
He was in
there
Kurt's
you go.
movie.
Okay,
I do. I do have Kurt's number. Yes, and I'm not calling him right now. No.
Call him in Menifee. Come on.
No.
Put it on
No,
speaker.
I'm not.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Conference call.
Three-way call, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
We have to work with you on this.
I know. It's going to take some work.
What's the point of having these numbers if you never talk to them?
Right.
Well, it's
That's
just
why he
to
doesn't
have
get the
them.
numbers.
I mean, it's to have them. Well, I have nothing at this point to talk about with Kurt Warner. He's not a guy I call. I'm going to text every week and say, "Can you come on every week?"
No.
We'll pick our spots for when we'd like to get him on, and I'll try and get him on.
Spot.
Yeah,
It's weird because we spoke
not
to
a good
Austin.
spot.
We spoke to Austin Eckler once, and Stugotz then proposed and got us married to Austin all
That's
of last
it.
season.
Right.
So
That's how you roll.
that's all it
right?
takes.
Oh yeah, that's how
Same
you
with
roll,
Drew
there's no
Millard.
doubt. Yeah.
No, don't get.
God.
We don't need to talk about Drew anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Mike, I have
Mike,
a question for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Billy. Sorry, Billy. I didn't want to get in the way. I'm sorry about that. Go ahead. I'm glad that you have a question for Mike. Go ahead.
Well, no. So the big thing, I mean, it's a slow time in the NFL right now. And the big thing that's going on this week is Tight End University, which we were going to go to, but then we didn't go to. It's a whole thing. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It turns out when we were talking to George Kittle's father, who was going to be our ticket into Tight End University, because should be of no surprise to you, Mike, we spoke to George Kittle at Super Bowl at Radio Row. And then we met his father there, and Stugotz naturally exchanged business cards with his father and has been speaking to him semi-frequently since the Super Bowl. And the goal was for us to get to Tight End U. We didn't go to Tight End U, but he's also like a lawyer, so he may be representing Stugotz in some capacity now. I don't exactly know. But we thought that it was like this small thing, but this year it's been blown up. Like everybody's there. I've seen Josh Allen is there. Gronk returned. Gronk was there. Everybody seems to be at Tight End U, which got me kind of thinking, well, everyone except for us, but it got me thinking, what would you do with a D-line U? Like if you were to start D-line University, who would you bring?
One.
Do they?
Oh, yeah, they do. O-line have one. D-line has one. Tight ends have one. Yeah, the D-line's had one for a couple of years now. Yes.
But it's not sponsored by Charmin, to my knowledge.
It is not, but it's got a lot of heavy hitters there, believe me, you know.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the thing now where these guys, it's just different now where guys all get together like that in the offseason. It's stuff we never did. Not to say that it couldn't have worked that, but it was never really thought of. Everybody kind of worked out on their own. So now, and again, I think the O linemen were the first ones to really get that O line camp together, and it has followed suit with a couple other positions. So yeah, D line has been doing it as well, and they just meet and go over stuff, moves and talk about the league. I'm not sure. I haven't been to any of those things, so I don't know. It's not like they're bringing me in, to show technique at a D line camp. So, but I do know those things have become pretty popular, and players like to go to them.
Bruce Kittle did say to me, Billy, it's easier if you guys would just come to the event. Like, I'll get all these guys on with you. Josh Allen showed up this year.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
With you if you right. If you guys just need to come to the event, and it's not far. It's in Nashville, not far from us at least, Billy.
I mean, what's really that far with an airplane nowadays? The world's gotten smaller, right, Mike?
It really has.
Nashville's kind of in the middle, so it's kind of not.
So
far,
have XL shirts. I mean,
and then think of just go hang out at a honky tonk, man, and just drink beers and listen to local music. Be awesome.
Right. Wait, so Mike, I just want to go back to DeAndre Hopkins and Dalvin Cook for a second. You think, so the Cowboys, Mikey floated the idea of the Cowboys getting those two guys. I don't think that's going to happen, but
I don't either.
You like those two at the Dolphins? Like, you think it makes sense for the Dolphins to sign both of those guys?
Well, I mean, I'm just looking at teams, that it could potentially help a roster. Do I see Miami?
I mean, they help any roster, though, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do I see Miami doing it? I doubt it. Not with the couple of wide receivers they have. They have a pretty good running back room as well. So, no, I really don't see that happening at all. And
Mikey points out, sorry to cut you off, Golic, that the Dolphins have $15 million left in cap space.
I mean, they have cap space. And again,
13.
what is it going to cost you to bring those two in? As I said, Dalvin Cook it shouldn't cost you a lot of money. I know the running backs, and that's cool. They're complaining about how they're undervalued, and I would agree, but agreeing doesn't help, and I read somewhere out there they should all band together and do what? Withhold their services and not get paid? I mean, they're not going to be able to band together and do anything. Just like the quarterbacks aren't going to band together and hold out until they get completely guaranteed contracts. We saw how that's going. So that's just not going to happen. Do I think it's going to happen in Miami? No, I don't. Do I think that they both end up on the same team? No, I do not.
I want to be clear, $13 million for the Dolphins. Mikey points out that the Cowboys have $24 million in cap space, and the Bears, and that's where I think it makes the most sense. I don't know if either of those guys, both those guys would want to go there, but that would be the help that Justin Fields kind of needs right there. The Bears have $31 million in cap space.
Well, see, then again, it comes down to what do you want? And I've always said this, if you're a coach, if you're a player, what does DeAndre Hopkins want right now? He's made $114 million. He's been considered the best at his position as well. He's lacking a ring, but I don't know what his motivation is. Is it geography? Is it friends on a team? Is it coaches he knows? Is it a team close to the Super Bowl? I don't know, because I get the Bears could use him and they have the space. But if the Bears and a close contender team, gives him the same amount of money, why wouldn't he go to the team that's closer to the Super Bowl? Unless the Bears are just going to try and money whip them, which I have no idea if they'll do or not, because the Bears, to me, are still a couple of years away. And are you going to hang on to DeAndre Hopkins that long?
Mike, I would say, though, if the Bears were to get two players like that, along with Justin Fields, in a division that just lost Aaron Rodgers, why not? Like, why couldn't they make that jump from last to,
I get what you're saying, and I think Detroit, in all honesty, Detroit and Minnesota are the favorites, so is it a division that could be had? I just think the offensive line is still suspect there. The defense can be hit or miss. I like the defense at times, but they showed some holes as well. I'm just not sure they're there yet. But adding a talent like that, but again, you'd have to really offer more than DeAndre's getting offered anywhere else, because why would he choose to go to a team that doesn't look like they would make the playoffs, as opposed to a team that's right on the brink if it's close to equal money? So unless, again, the Bears want to throw a multi-year deal at him for a ton of money, that may entice him.
I want to talk about, when we come back, Mike, I want to talk about, because we were talking about the Cowboys and Dak Prescott and Jerry Jones. I want to talk about, I believe Dak Prescott has the most amount of pressure on him headed into this NFL season? Like, how long is Jerry going to allow him to be his quarterback without Dak Prescott making significant, serious runs deep into the postseason? He's never done it. And so I want to discuss that with you, the guys that have the most pressure on them headed into the NFL season. So we will do that next. Plus, I want to get into what happened with Nick Saban coming up next on God Bless Football.
We'll get to Dak in a minute, but Stugotz, I don't know if you've seen this because you've kind of been touring the country. You're on your concert tour for the summer. The Lions, because, it's an exciting time in the NFL right now. The Lions released a new helmet, and that's basically all that's happened this week in the NFL, aside from tight end U, and there's people that are still available. And it's getting mixed reviews. I don't know how you guys feel about it. I was not a huge fan of it. It's been getting some praise from some people. I did not love this helmet.
Did a 5-year-old draw the lion? Like, everything about the helmet is pretty cool, except for the actual lion. The actual drawing of the lion. It looks so rudimentary. It's laughable.
Well, the logo's described as a classic logo paying tribute to the club's heritage. They are these light blue helmets, which is a departure from their signature, gray silver helmet that they
Which
wear.
I love, by the way. I love their helmets. I do. I love their uniforms.
It seems of the things that they would change, the helmet wouldn't need to be one of them, right? They created this.
The record would be one of them. Yeah.
Well, they started working on that last year. Look, don't be surprised if the Lions are in the playoffs.
I agree with you. I think the Lions should be the favorites in that division.
Yes. I agree. I would pick them to win the division. And Mikey, I agree with you. The lion drawing is not the greatest in the world.
Well, here's my problem with the overall helmet. And again, I'm looking at it for the first time. When you have to have some sort of thing that points out what everything on the helmet means, like a diagram, I am not down. Like, hey, the last helmet the Lions trotted out, it was a lion. That was it. No one needed to explain it to me. This one requires explanation, and Billy, I do not like that.
You don't like explanation?
Nah, just put a lion on there. You're the Lions.
Well, okay, then I'm glad we didn't go in this direction, because the other thing that I was going to ask you about was going to be the Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl rings, because they were introduced this week, and then I was going to give you a diagram that explained all the little intricacies of that as well. But that was like much deeper than this. There's just 5 lines explaining the color, what uniforms are going to wear with it, why it is that there's a cartoon lion on it, heritage, all of that. The rings are absurd. They're enormous. They can take off the top and wear it as a pendant around your neck. There's thousands of diamonds hundreds of diamonds in it, I guess. But
600 some diamonds, yeah.
I mean,
and they try and outdo each other every year with the ring, and it's gotten to a point where you can't really wear it out. Who's just going to wear that out? I mean, you might as well just ask somebody to come up and mug you. I mean, you're wearing that to the club. I mean, and they all have secret compartments now, or flip open or do other. It's like the rings decades ago you could actually just put on and wear out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately they were worth probably $10 as opposed to the hundreds of thousands of dollars they're worth now.
I'd be worried in these rings where you could take the top of the ring off and wear it as some other form of jewelry. I'd be worried to lose that piece of the ring, and then just have like the weird base of the ring that has like the mini stadium inside or whatever's in it this time. Like, it just seems unnecessary. But also, if I won a Super Bowl, I'd want some ridiculous Super Bowl ring too, right?
You want something gaudy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what they should do next year? They should have a Super Bowl ring where the interior of the top compartment is a mini ring that you could take out. So like you wear that for like smaller occasions.
Oh, that's a good idea. You know what? I like that idea a lot, because you're not wearing that full ring out. There's no shot you're doing that unless you have a bodyguard.
Wait, Billy, so you're saying you have a smaller ring for casual dinners, right?
Yes.
And then you wear the big ring out like to a gala. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe, you know what? Because now thinking of the practicality of it, it's probably harder to have a mini ring sitting on top of the ring. So maybe what you do is you have the like ring that you wear around it, right? And then there's like a secondary, you know how like you have an engagement ring and then a wedding ring?
Yeah.
Not me. I just have a wedding ring. But like some people have engagement. Yeah. So maybe what you have is you have like the primary Super Bowl ring, right? And then you have around it, and I'm going to show you guys. Around it, you have like maybe a ring here and a ring here, and those rings hold on to the giant ring that sits on top of your primary ring.
I like it. Yeah.
Why not just give a giant diamond encrusted box to hold a regular ring that you can wear?
Just have the box of
like
ring
that.
of
Yeah.
diamonds,
Like make the box really flashy.
Well, we're getting to the point that the ring is going to be football size, right? So like we're just going to be giving diamond encrusted footballs to the champions.
Pretty much so.
Yeah. But I like you with like bookends, like holding up the encyclopedias.
Yeah, it's exactly right.
2 smaller rings holding up the big ring.
Some of the things when you read those ring descriptions are like a stretch. It's like there's 87 diamonds because when the owner was 87 years old, they had a milkshake for the first time and loved the taste of the milkshake. And
always
like,
trying to have a connection.
Yeah.
You're right, though. They do that.
How about that's the number that fit on this design and that's why it has it. We don't need to come up with some other elaborate thing.
And doesn't the league give an X amount to the rings for the purchase of rings, and then it's up to the owners to go overboard, which they all do? I think, I'm not positive, but I think the league does give
a ring budget.
A ring budget. I do believe you get
really?
Some. I think so.
Like, are you saying the NFL pays for the rings, and then anything above and beyond, the owner has to pay for?
The owner has to pay.
The first $100 comes from the NFL.
First $100.
Get out of here! The first $100.
Yeah.
What? Wait, the NFL kicks in $100 to the rings?
No.
I believe it.
I'm trying to find out. I think it's.
I'm looking it up too.
Call Kurt
I'm
Menefee,
fascinated
see if he
by
knows.
ring budgets.
Here it is.
Kurt Warner would know.
Yeah, call Kurt Warner.
Right, he has one. Yeah.
The league only pays for a portion of the cost, roughly somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000 per ring. Team owners are responsible for picking up the rest. There you go.
I feel like the NFL should be kicking in more.
Why?
Because they're making $1 billion, Mike.
That's fine. They're making it. You know who's making the $1 billion?
The owners.
The owners. So let them pay for it. Hell yeah.
I feel like Goodell should pay for all rings.
Hey,
I
listen.
mean, he's stealing $55 million a year.
Whoa,
You know what?
whoa,
And I have
Sorry, he's a friend of Golic's. Golic doesn't have his number. He's never going to call him.
He does.
Oh, yes, I do. I do.
Sorry, Rod.
I have zero issue with the amount of money he's made. I have zero issue with the amount of money people make if someone's willing to pay him.
Right.
Why would you have a problem with it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just feel like that. I don't know. It's a small contribution to a ring. Like these owners are spending $50,000 on these things.
Until
But
2
that's
minutes
it.
ago, we
It's
thought
the
they
owner's
contributed
choice.
none. Yeah.
Right.
It's the owner's
Fair.
choice. They don't
Fair.
have to do it. They're the ones that want to do it, as they're lining their pockets with money from the league.
How can you be you didn't know they contributed anything,
outraged.
and you were outraged,
Yeah.
and now you're upset about what they contribute. I don't understand you.
You're special. You're special.
That's you
I am
nailed it.
special. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate your support.
Whatever.
Mike, we were talking Dak Prescott. I want to stay on rings for a minute. I do. I'm upset about this. We were talking about Dak Prescott, who doesn't have a ring and may never get a ring. Mike, he has to be the guy in the NFL just because of the talent they have around him, the money he's making, the position that he plays, the team that he plays that position for. He has to be the guy that has the most amount of pressure headed into this NFL season. Like, Jerry Jones has to start asking himself at some point, hey, is Dak really suited for this? Is Dak the guy that could take me to a Super Bowl? Is Dak the guy that can win me a Super Bowl? At some point, if you're Jerry Jones, you have to sit back and question that.
Well, you do, but there's also the money issue. So he's a guy with he signed the 4-year extension in 21, I think. They'll probably try to extend him to cut the cap number, right? So it comes down to a money issue too. If you want to change quarterbacks, what's your dead cap hit? We've seen monster dead cap hits. And then it's always a question of who else you're going to get. But yes, the pressure is on him for sure, because A, he's the quarterback, and B, the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. So like I said, I did the game where he got hurt last year. You can't control getting injured, but he comes back from the injury and he ends up throwing a ton of interceptions. That's the key, is not turning the ball over. I think the year before that, he threw 30-some touchdowns and 10 interceptions, which is I think 37 touchdowns, a way better ratio than 23 and 15 last year. So that's what he has to prove that he's not going to do, is turn the ball over that much. Because if you turn the ball over that much, you better have a number that begins with 3 or 4 of touchdown passes in the 30s or 40s if you're turning the ball over 15 times, 15 interceptions. I remember, speaking of Kurt Warner, when they played on, that team that they played on, they scored so much, they didn't care about turnovers as much because they knew they were going to score a ton of points. And that's fine if you're throwing 30-something, 40-something touchdown passes, but 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions ain't going to do it. So that's something he has got to get over on as a big money guy. Aaron Rodgers is going to be in the same kind of pressure cooker of changing teams. They already have a really good defense around it. They're trying to build the offense. But yeah, when you were, we talk about the Cowboys, the Yankees, Notre Dame, the Lakers. Those are all teams that are always headlining somewhere, and always get the big buildup. And when you're at the best position of that team, the quarterback position, a lot's going to fall on your shoulders.
Mike, are we arriving in a place where Josh Allen is going to start feeling some of that, where it's time to win now? Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're putting it. These are all teams that before their rookie contracts came up, these teams were playing well. So they were able to build around them before paying the quarterback. We certainly know they did that in Dallas. So that's always the great thing. If you get a quarterback that shows like a Joe Burrow, right? Where before you have to pay him, and now we're coming up on that. But before you could bring in other talent around him, and then at some point you got to pay them all. But yeah, we're getting to that point. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't see Dallas winning the division this year over Philly. I think Philly's the best team in the NFC. And then San Francisco, depending on the quarterback. So, I think it'll be another wild card slot. But, the NFC East last year had 3 teams make it. So they could do that again because the NFC is not deep at all.
I just want to go through these with you because it's kind of fascinating. So you think Rodgers has some pressure on him this year? He does. You're right.
Yes.
Yep. Josh Allen, some pressure on him this year. You're right.
Yes.
How about Tua? Where do you stand with Tua? I don't think there's pressure on Tua because of the injury stuff. It's a different kind of pressure,
Yes, the pressure of play is not there because he was playing at an MVP caliber, right, when he was healthy. And then as soon as his head got slammed off the turf and that whole debacle started, that's the worry now. It wasn't the play so much because they have put a lot of really good players around him as well, and he has thrived in that. So it isn't the play so much as crossing your fingers and hoping he doesn't get hurt.
But if he stays healthy with the weapons that he has, and then there's issues, and you're not able to succeed with the weapons, then I think there are some questions there.
That will bring up a question, but let's get there first.
Yeah.
We've seen that with Dak. We've seen Dak underperform, with a good team around him. Tua was performing incredibly well with a good team around him, and then he got hurt.
Have we arrived there with Lamar Jackson yet?
With Lamar, in all honesty, I don't think they built well around him. They had Mark Andrews. They didn't have a lot of great wide receivers around him. Now
they do.
Now they do with Odell, with Zay Flowers. So I do think, and they keep talking about how he's going to pass more and run less. I'll believe that when I see it. I think you still have to count on his legs as well, which you can, but he's got better receivers to throw to. So this is certainly a year where, right as he got paid, of course, to where you say, okay, here's some pretty good talent around you. What are we going to do with it?
There should be pressure on Deshaun Watson, yet I just feel like people are kind of indifferent about Deshaun Watson. Like they don't care,
Well, he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's the thing.
There's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do. They're guaranteed that contract. People are still mad, especially owners, mad at the Haslams for giving that contract out. You have him there. There is no way around that. No way around that situation. You hope he gets better. I don't even count last year. You hope this year he can get back to what he was. That's what the Browns fans are hoping for. But if he doesn't, what are you going to do? I mean, what are your options when you guarantee a guy his entire contract? So you live with it.
Kyler Murray?
I love this game.
Kyler Murray. I don't see it. I just haven't seen it, and I don't see it. I think this is also not his fault, one of the worst rosters in the league as well. So I think they're in some trouble.
Kirk Cousins.
I love it. I love this game.
It's a good game.
Kirk Cousins, the greatest business quarterback there's been in the NFL with what he's done.
Sam Bradford would like a word.
Well, Sam Bradford got the last rookie deal before rookie wage scale. He got $50 million guaranteed just walking into the league.
No, Cousins played the franchise tag perfectly.
Exactly. He played the business part of it perfectly. But listen, he's associated with I can get you so far and no further. And that's what he has to overcome. It was kind of like Marty Schottenheimer when he coached my brother with the Browns. They get to a couple AFC games, AFC championship games. It's the fumble. It's the drive, against the Broncos, and they're not getting to the Super Bowl. And Marty gets fired for it. Got him to a level and couldn't get it over it. And that's kind of the thing with Kirk Cousins.
Really quick before we go to break, and this is a forgotten thing that was kind of a theme last year in the playoffs, and we just kind of ignored it after the Super Bowl and moved on from it. I feel like Stugotz, you in particular, and the show maybe owe Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes an apology, because what we were saying during the playoff run was he needs to prove it. This is a make or break season for him. He's been there before, but he only has the one ring. And then they win another ring, and then we just pretended that we weren't saying that the entire time. You said going into the playoffs, he had the most to prove out of any quarterback and coach combo.
I said that, or Golic said that?
I didn't say that.
Golic did not
I didn't say that. No way would I say that. That sounds like something you would say, Stu.
Yeah.
Just to start the brush fire.
I mean, it felt good at the time. I got to be honest with you. No one else was saying it.
Even after he threw you a pass, huh?
Wow.
Right out of the bathroom. Just a dart,
Wow. That's all I can say is wow.
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Do it again. Billy, do we have a name for this game? Pressure, no pressure? I love this game. It's a fun game because I have a couple of more for Golic. Mikey A has a big smile on his face. We are inching closer to football.
Inching is the key word there, because right now it's dragging, man. Yeah.
Do we have a name?
No, give me some time. I'll think of a name.
Okay.
Right. Don't overthink it. The pressure game.
Well, because here's the thing. Can I tell you something? I came up with years ago, behind the scenes, joking around on the radio show. I said that we should play a game called Dope or Nope. And then we give something and say, is this dope or is this nope? Right? And I was mocked and I was laughed at. And it was like, that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Lo and behold, this morning I saw on Get Up they were playing Dope or Nope, and I could not believe it.
No way.
On Get Up, they were asking, is the Lions helmet dope or nope? In a serious conversation, is this helmet dope or nope?
Wow.
Yeah.
So you feel they stole that from you?
No, there's no way they could have stole it from me. I mean, it wasn't the most clever thing in the world. Someone was bound to think of it eventually, and we don't have any commonalities that were in the room at the time that could have stolen it. But it was just...
Are you sure?
I was just feeling, honestly, I was feeling a sense of redemption that I was mocked for thinking of this years ago, and then it made it onto the show. Now, I don't know that it was a good idea. I just know that it was a used idea.
Right. When you idea, right.
When you brought it up to our show, who said it was a bad idea? Because that's
Allison.
not something I would not say that's a bad idea.
It was Allison. Yeah, Allison didn't like the idea. Yeah.
I think Dope or Nope is perfectly made for players walking into the locker room on what are they wearing, or award shows, red carpet, walking in what dress or suit the men and women are wearing is Dope or Nope.
I actually think that it was pitched as a fashion segment, if I remember correctly.
It fits as a fashion segment.
Oh, thank you.
Billy, I will ask you, are you certain that Allison has no ties or connections to anyone at Get Up? Are you certain?
I would say that I don't think that if anyone reached out to her for any ideas, that Dope or Nope was high on the list of pitched ideas.
just be Stugotz and say
she could be playing a long game.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, right. She liked it, but she was stashing it away for something else. I'm with Mikey on that. The long play. Yes. Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert, Mike.
Well, I mean, Justin
Dope or
Herbert's
Nope?
He's going to get paid.
Different game.
Yeah, he's dope for sure. Yeah. I mean, here's a guy who's thrown, I'm looking 94 touchdowns, 36 interceptions, 10, 10, and 15 on interceptions to go along with 31, 38, and 25 touchdowns. I love the receivers as well. This is a team that I expect more out of as they're building. They're in what we had said was the toughest division a couple of years ago, and we were dead wrong on it because the Raiders, weren't very good. The Broncos were awful last year. So we thought Chargers and Chiefs. I keep waiting for the Chargers to take that next step. Why? Pressure. I'm going to say no because, again, he's going to be there. He is going to get the monster contract. He and Burrow are set to be the next two highest paid players all time in NFL history. So the pressure will mount in a couple of years for Herbert. But right now, no, because he's getting paid.
I think Billy came up with a name for the game.
I just said, does he have something to prove?
Yeah, something to prove. That's
Something
what
to
I like
prove.
that. Yes.
Because I forgot that the game was pressure or not, so I was just telling Stugotz to ask if Herbert had
dope or
something to
nope,
prove.
right.
Yeah.
Dope or nope. We'll save dope or nope for fashion.
So, Mike, go ahead, Billy. I'm sorry.
I feel like he should have a little bit of pressure. Why are we telling him, well, you have like a 3-year window and then you'll have pressure?
Win
No,
a playoff game.
have some pressure now.
Yeah.
How about play with pressure now?
I think they'll always put some pressure on themselves to get it done every year. But as far as when you're talking about pressure, is it pressure to keep his job? There's no pressure there at all.
Right. Well, just pressure to, prove yourself. Prove that you're...
That's every year. It's just a matter of how much. So it's always going to be, it was just like, who's ever going to overtake the Patriots in the AFC East? And now it's been the Bills, right? Who's going to finally overtake the Chiefs in the AFC West since they've won it for the last 100 years? So who's going to be that next team? If you're, a betting person, you would probably put the money on the Chargers as opposed to the other two teams in that division. So that's the pressure. Not only winning that, getting to the playoffs is the one thing, obviously, because then you're in. But knocking off the Chiefs and winning that division is part of it.
So for him, are you just looking for like a step up this year? Like this isn't like a make it or break. This is like don't blow a 27-point lead, blow like a 14-point
Yeah, I mean, blowing that lead was horrific. Listen, he's played incredibly well as a quarterback. And that's why I kind of get really about putting the whole win-loss record on quarterbacks. Well, this quarterback's win-loss record, there are three aspects to football: offense, defense, and special teams.
Yeah.
To put Super Bowls on quarterbacks, well, this quarterback won this many Super Bowls. I mean, I personally, I can't stand it. I think the only real sport where you can say one player has such a huge effect is in basketball, because they're on the court, 40, 45 minutes a game, sometimes the entire game. They're there offensively, defensively. They can always have an effect on the game. Quarterbacks have zero effect when they're not on the field,
right?
So
I don't know if you saw the Patriots without Tom Brady and then the Bucks with Tom Brady. I mean, I don't know if did you see it?
Certainly there's a difference, but did you see the Patriots' first couple of Super Bowls they won because of defense and not Tom Brady in the offense?
Defense wins championships.
Yeah, yeah. Stick
Trevor
that in your
Lawrence.
pipe.
Wow.
Stick what in our pipe? Like, you made some great point. Like
He's right.
Whatever, just stick it in your pipe.
I mean, it's the most important position in sports. It could change the fortune of your team.
It is the most.
That's why we're so excited to have Aaron Rodgers.
Listen, I agree, but I'm not putting the fact that you won it completely on the quarterback. I'm just not.
Okay. But I feel like there are some quarterbacks who are sitting. Hurts is sitting in a sweet spot right now where they're really like he exceeded expectations. He's already done that, and so he's good for a couple of years before we start getting all over him.
Yeah, exactly.
Trevor Lawrence is another guy who I feel like is kind of in that sweet spot right now, where
without a doubt,
if he has 2 more years just making the playoffs, he'll be fine. 3 years from now, we'll start questioning whether or not he can go deep into the playoffs.
That's exactly right. Yes. So once you reach a level, then the expectation is to take another step, to the next level and to the next level. And if you don't, then you start getting questioned. And listen, I agree. It's the most important position on the field and can have an incredible effect. I completely agree with you on that. But listen, are the Jets going? They could go further this year, but one of the reasons they're going to go further is Aaron Rodgers and their defense.
You're right.
Okay?
No, Mike, you're right. You get certain guys in the NBA that he got LeBron James, you were guaranteed to go to the finals 4 consecutive years. They didn't win it every year. They won it twice. Right. But one player impacts the sport more so in basketball than any other sport. Yeah. That's totally fair. But that position's just so important.
So important, yes.
Unless you're the Niners quarterback. Trey Lance. Pressure?
Trey Lance isn't going to be the quarterback. Brock Purdy's going to be the quarterback. So
we don't know.
Pressure.
No, if Brock Purdy is healed from the injury, Brock Purdy will be the starting quarterback. And at some point, Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are just going to have to understand that if Trey Lance isn't going to be the mistake that was made to trade up to get him, which a lot of times people in high positions never want to admit their failings. And again, listen, Trey Lance has been hurt, so we don't know the true quarterback yet, but they see him in practice, and they've basically given the job to Brock Purdy if he's healthy. So that should tell you a hell of a lot there.
This is interesting, Mike, because you believed so much in Trey Lance that you traded up to get him. You traded a lot to trade up and get him. So I am just wondering, and Purdy was Mr. Irrelevant. He was the last selection in the NFL draft. I am wondering, like, have you given Trey Lance enough time to prove himself in the NFL? Don't you owe it to yourselves and Trey Lance after giving up that much to get him, where if he's healthy again this year, you have to put him in and see what you have there, don't you?
No, you owe your team the best chance to win. And the one thing where you see a quarterback that we don't is in practice. And while practice isn't a game, you can still see the things of reading defenses, what's going on in the film room, are they picking things up? And I get it, it's not the live bullets of a real game, but you can get the handle enough of what a quarterback is doing in practice. And for them to already say if Brock Purdy is healthy, Brock Purdy is pretty much going to be the guy, I think tells you all you need to know.
Jimmy G pressure.
Oh,
you know who's lurking. You know, Mike.
You know who's lurking. The part owner of the Raiders, Tom Brady.
Yeah, very small minority owner.
The one thing about Jimmy G, if you can use it that way, is Jimmy G has a built-in chip on his shoulder every year because every year everybody rips him. Every year everybody's trying to replace him as the quarterback. Then he goes out and throws touchdowns and he wins regular season games and gets you to the playoffs and has an overthrow in the Super Bowl where everybody throws their hands up and says, oh, he can't get it done. Mm-hmm. So then he's on another team. And the same thing will be said is, when can we get to the next quarterback? Because this guy ain't going to get it done. So he has a built-in chip on his shoulder.
All right, just two more. Jordan Love.
Oh.
Jordan Love, I mean.
That's a pressure.
Well, it's his first year starting. What's the expectation? What do you truly, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, truly, what is your Are you expecting him to go out and throw 30 and 10? I'm not. I'm expecting him to go through some growing pains. So to me, no.
Right.
Bryce Young.
Yeah.
Bryce Young?
Yeah.
Oh, no rookie quarterbacks. No rookie quarterbacks. It's a learning curve. It's to go out and get your nose blooded, your eyes watered, and see how quickly you can learn to not make mistakes over and over again, learn from them, and start to get better.
Jared Goff.
Ooh.
Boy, Jared Goff coming
a little bit of pressure
here, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think that whole team. So, you know what? That's a great one because the quarterback is the most important position on the field. That team, we love giving that team love because we love Dan Campbell, right? Yes. We love him. He's great. Now they're in a position to win that division. So that means the pressure is going to fall squarely on the quarterback, even though, again, you need the defense and other aspects of the game. But that's the most important position. And this team, wow, go win the division. So, man, Jared Goff, a lot is on your shoulders, my friend. Yes.
I love this game.
Kenny Pickett.
Oh, Pickett.
No.
Oh, really?
The expectation is for them to be the third worst or the worst team in that division, right? Behind Cincinnati and Baltimore. If they're to be above those teams, that would be oh my God, did that happen? Wow. So I think there's more pressure on Kenny to perform better than he did last year to show that sophomore improvement than to say I led my team to beat out Cincinnati and Baltimore, which I don't think they're going to do. So for him, the pressure is just show that next step as a quarterback in the improvement.
Matt Stafford.
Oh God, here we go.
Jesus.
Well, Matt's coming off the injury, right? So that whole team has pressure on it. I mean, listen, they did what they did worked. They sold their soul and they won a Super Bowl, and that's all that matters. And now they're paying the price to where each year we're talking about Aaron Donald or Sean McVay walking away, which we know they weren't going to do. So there's pressure on that whole organization to try and come back from what they've done, even though you get a little bit of time because you won a Super Bowl.
Joe Burrow.
Are you going to mention every
He's
single
just close
quarterback
but
in the
no
league?
cigar,
This
and then
is a
we're going to
good
have to
one,
sign
Mike.
the big deal. We're running out of that window. Joe Burrow.
No, because he's already proven how great he is in the league. He, like Herbert, is going to get paid like there's no tomorrow. So, no. I mean, the pressure he's going to put on himself to, again, take the next step. Now, if they regress some, they're all of a sudden you could be wait a minute, we just paid you all this money. We got to be one of the top teams in the AFC. But, man, we know the AFC is absolutely stacked.
Geno Smith.
Boy, that is a good one, actually.
Yeah.
That's a good, because he came out of nowhere last year and proved a lot of us wrong. So I don't know. In all honesty, I think he might get a year kind of grace period. Though if he doesn't have a great year, people may say, oh, see, there it is. He was a one-year wonder, but he got paid for it a bit. So I think he gets a bit of a grace year.
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones has something to prove. Mac Jones, not from a team standpoint
Starting
again.
to warm up to this game.
Not from a team aspect again, but from a personal play. Because the dude, is struggling, no doubt about it. So his play has got to get better. I don't think they're going to win that division. In fact, I think they're the worst team in that division.
Wow.
So it's going to be more about him improving his play.
Russell Wilson.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I'm one of those that I don't think Russell playing bad last year, if he plays bad again this year, is hurting his Hall of Fame chances or anything like that. But I think from a personal standpoint, he knows he's got to be better. And listen, give Denver and that new ownership credit. They went out and spent money. They went out and got Sean Payton to coach, a Super Bowl winning coach. So they're trying to throw everything in the right direction. And I expect Russell Wilson to be better this year.
Daniel Jones.
Oh, God. See, seriously?
Ryan Tannehill.
Tannehill.
Tannehill may not be the quarterback.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
I do have one more serious
Levis.
one, though.
Yeah.
Who?
Will Levis.
Oh, Levis.
no, again, no rookie quarterbacks. No.
All right.
Anthony
Sam
Richardson.
Hartman.
Sam Hartman. Listen, I think we're going to see people are going to be happy just to see a quarterback throw in maybe the 30s in touchdown passes. This is still going to be a running team, but to know that Notre Dame now can kind of pass their way back into a game or pass their way to keep a lead in a game if they have to, if the running game's not going, I think it's a huge thing, because if Notre Dame got in a position where they had to throw the ball to win, it was try and get the ball to Michael Mayer. He'll catch the ball in a tough area and gut out some yards for you, especially around the end zone. But there was not a lot of faith in the passing game. So Sam Hartman walks in with Notre Dame fans going, oh, thank God we got a guy that can whip the ball around.
Mike, if he threw for 30-plus touchdowns, where would that put Sam Hartman all time in Notre Dame?
Well, I mean, you're talking about from Notre Dame passers, guys, Jimmy Clausen threw it, Brady Quinn, throwing for touchdown passes. I mean, we just haven't had a passing quarter. Even when my kids were here, the quarterback wasn't a passing team. It was more of a running team. So it's definitely been a while, something that Notre Dame has not been used to. So again, as I said, they'll still rely on the running game, but to know you can back it up with what should be a team that should be able to air it out at times is going to be pretty exciting.
If he throws for 35 touchdowns this year, and that's attainable, okay, he will be number 9 all time in Notre Dame history. He'll break the top 10 in 1 year.
How about that?
Baker Mayfield.
Oh, wow. Baker.
That team's not doing anything this year. No.
All right, Mike. Next week we'll do this with running backs.
Yes.
God. Well, you know what? I don't think I can make it next week.
Wide receivers?
No, I got
linemen.
I got to wash my hair.
Oh.
Do you? You look great, by the way.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, no problem. You want to promote the golf tournament before we get out of here? Because it's coming up, Mike.
Yeah, it's coming up 25th, 26th. The good thing about GolicFamilyFoundation.com is where you can go, is the fact that the silent auction items are going to be available to everybody, not just people who are there. So that's a cool thing. You can make a donation if you'd like. Again, all the money goes to local charitable organizations in South Bend, Michiana area, up into Chicago as well. But everybody will be able to bid on silent auction items. So you do not have to be here in attendance to be able to win an item like that. So And listen, we want to raise money. That's the whole reason we're doing it.
Derek Carr.
I'm breaking up. I can't hear you anymore.
All right. Good luck with the golf tournament. Hopefully you raise a lot of money. Get a lot of phone numbers, okay?
I will do my best. And Derek Carr, I'm actually picking New Orleans to win the division.
Wow. We're not doing that. We're not doing that yet, Mike. We're going to be doing the division.
Oh, I'm sorry. I jumped ahead. My bad.
Baby steps, Mike. We're inching closer.
I'm sorry.
Save some of the good stuff.
All right. I'll bring it back.
See you, Mike.
All right. See you guys.
God bless football.
God bless football.